Welcome to World News by Denis Halandzovskyi. If you value calm, balanced, and in-depth global news analysis, please subscribe and leave a comment. Today's story examines high-stakes diplomacy involving former US President Donald Trump and several European leaders on the question of Ukraine's future. In a series of high-profile meetings, Donald Trump met with key European leaders to discuss ongoing support for Ukraine, security arrangements across the continent, and possible paths toward peace negotiations. The discussions took place in a context of mounting global tension, shifting alliances, and differing approaches to how best to support Kyiv while managing domestic pressures in Western capitals. Trump's message to European partners emphasized a desire for renewed cooperation, but also introduced elements of recalibration. He reiterated that Ukraine should press forward with plans for negotiations only if security guarantees were put in place, and he suggested that Europe might need to take on a more pronounced role in managing its own defense commitments. This shift reflects long-held criticisms from Trump that European nations have not contributed enough, financially or militarily, to shared defense objectives. European leaders, for their part, expressed cautious receptivity but also firm insistence on certain red lines. Support for Ukraine's territorial integrity remained a central theme, and many leaders reiterated that any peace process must not reward Russian aggression or undermine Ukraine's sovereignty. While there was agreement on the need for continued coordination, there were clear differences in emphasis, particularly on sequencing of long-term security guarantees versus immediate battlefield support. The meetings also touched on the future of NATO's strategic role. Some European officials signaled a willingness to strengthen regional defense cooperation, but also expressed concern about over-reliance on a US partner whose own foreign policy priorities may be shifting. This tension points to an ongoing recalibration of transatlantic security, one that is likely to continue as the geopolitical landscape evolves. The optics of these meetings matter. Trump's engagements with European leaders are scrutinized not only for policy outcomes, but also for their symbolic value. They suggest a renewed interest in transatlantic dialogue, but they also highlight how divergent priorities and political pressures can complicate unified action. The potential implications of these discussions are significant. For Ukraine, the European support ecosystem is a core pillar of its defense against Russian aggression. Continued coordination among the US, European governments, and NATO allies remains essential, not only for military aid, but also for diplomatic leverage and long-term security assurance. Trump's emphasis on security guarantees as a condition for future negotiations reflects a broader concern. Ukraine's leaders have argued that meaningful negotiations can only take place when Russia's capacity to resume full-scale aggression is constrained. This points toward a potentially lengthy process of calibration rather than a quick diplomatic resolution. For European states, the meetings underscore an ongoing search for strategic autonomy. While many countries rely on US support, there is a consistent push to develop European defense capabilities that are resilient and credible on their own merits. This process is complicated by economic restraints, political fragmentation, and differing threat perceptions among European capitals. Another key dimension is the signal these meetings send to Russia. Whether interpreted as unity or disunity, the way Western leaders manage their differences will be closely watched in Moscow. Clear, coordinated policy reduces space for opportunistic exploitation. Uncertainty or inconsistent messaging, on the other hand, could be seen as a strategic opening. In the broader context of global politics, these discussions reflect a moment of realignment. The nature of US-European cooperation on Ukraine may influence how the West addresses other strategic challenges, from deterrence in Eastern Europe to competition in the Indo-Pacific. For Ukraine's allies and supporters around the world, the message is clear. Continued dialogue is vital, but it must be anchored in shared principles, mutual responsibility, and a commitment to uphold international law. As the war continues, the diplomatic choreography among the United States and European powers will be central to shaping Ukraine's future. Thank you for watching this analysis on World News by Denis Halandzovskyi. If you found this breakdown helpful, please subscribe, leave a comment, and share your thoughts. Independent reporting and thoughtful discussion help us all make sense of an ever-changing world. Stay informed, and see you in the next update.